Hello, good evening and welcome to the Business Dashboard on City TV. My name is Bobby Osei. These are the stories coming up on the dashboard today. Cocoa marketing company bemoans high cost of transportation of beans abroad. Also, Zenith Bank awarded payments card industry data security standard and ISO 27001 certificates. Well, meanwhile, bankers laud Bank of Ghana's move to write off 1.2 billion cedis worth of non-performing loans. Also on the dashboard, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta directs state-owned enterprises to pay 2017 15% dividend to government. And some customers of Gold Coast Securities threatening legal action if the company fails to pay their matured investments. Details of these stories and others coming up in the next 30 minutes. Bringing you our first story. Now, management of the cocoa marketing company CMC has told City Business News it is working to reduce the high charges in transporting cocoa beans outside the country. The move, according to CMC, will ultimately benefit cocoa farmers as the cost of production will be reduced.
Speaking to City Business News on the issue at the Cocoa Freight Negotiation Conference in Accra, the managing director of CMC, Joe Forson, was optimistic the company will push for lower costs of transporting cocoa beans for the next season by the time the conference is over on Friday.
Basically, you understand that if you look at the CIF price of cocoa, okay, you have a freight component in the CIF price, which is critical to the value. Now, our ability to bring the freight element down will mean saving on the FOB element of the CIF value. The whole idea is to be able to negotiate very hard, very strong, because we understand that crude oil prices have gone up, and that is going to affect the banker surcharge rate that is pertaining everywhere in the world now. We want to leverage the fact that CMC is the sole biggest seller of cocoa in Africa. And the fact that we actually offer so much volume, we should be able to leverage and reduce the freight rate of it. We should be able to also negotiate strongly to ensure that we don't take a hit on the banker surcharge, what they call the BAF. So basically, this is what we're looking to do. We think that hosting it here will also give us a bit of leverage. Of course, it's like playing a football game. You know, if you come to my home grounds, I always have a bit of leverage against it. So we're looking forward. Friday will be very critical when we meet them one-on-one in the actual negotiations. And we hope to get very competitive rates for the CMC and for the government of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Mr. Forson was hopeful the cocoa farmer will be the ultimate winner if the CMC is able to negotiate for a favorable price.
If you look at the achieved CIF value that we do get from selling cocoa, it is part of the CIF value that is used to pay for freight. Now, if you're able to negotiate and get a competitive freight rate, the implication is that you're able to save a bit more to be made available to the farmers. So every dollar that we're able to save on freight, of course, will accrue to the cocoa farmer.
Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa. The Cocoa Board is targeting 850 metric tons of cocoa beans in the 2018-2019 season. In the future, Ghana is seeking to increase its production capacity to 1 million metric tons. But before achieving that, a Deputy Minister of Agriculture, George Odro, cautions that Ghana must not fall below its current production level.
You all agree that maintaining our leadership status internationally has not come easy. It has called for hard work by all the actors along the value chain and strategic thinking, especially in the areas of policy and marketing in a highly competitive global environment. Ghana has no choice than to keep up with the momentum and standards dictating the market for cocoa.
On his part, a Deputy Minister for Transport, Nikwate Titus Glover, stated that freight operations in the next export of cocoa has seen some significant increase that can be improved upon.
Ghana's seaborne trade in 2017 increased by 15.9% over the year 2016. Total export in 2017, which includes cocoa shipment, also saw 10.9% increase over 2016 from 5.55 million metric tons to 6.14 metric tons. For the first half of 2018, The country's seaborne trade saw a further increase by 14.3% over the same period in 2017. It is projected to see further growth in 10% in the further half of 2018.
The final decision of the Cocoa Freight Negotiation Conference will be held on Friday. Key stakeholders attending the meeting include Ghana Shippers Authority, Cocoa Board, and cocoa processing companies from abroad.
Well, turning now to banking, Zenith Bank has been awarded Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard an ISO 27001 certificate confirming the bank's strong systems to guard against cyber attacks. The bank is therefore assuring its customers of secure protection of their data and deposits. The following report has more.
The certification follows months of building systems to protect Zenith Bank's data and customers' deposits. The move also comes at a time where the cyber fraud cases in the financial system are rising. Zenith Bank joins a league of less than 5 banks that have assumed the ICO and PCI-DSS certification status. Henry Oro is the managing director of Zenith Bank.
So the last 13 years have been very good, and today we mark it with the certification for the PCI-DSS and the ISO 27000. For us, that also improves our posturing in the marketplace. It improves the security of our systems, and it also enriches the way our products and services are delivered to the customer.
The Bank of Ghana is currently working on cybersecurity guidelines for banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions to safeguard the industry. Zenith Bank's current status has also been possible through the support, coaching and guidance of information value chain consultant Digital Jewels. Meanwhile, Henry Oro believes that the bank will sustain its robust systems to qualify for the annual assessment and review of the certification.
And from an external certification point of view, on an annual basis, we're also going to have to review our certification with the external bodies like Digital Jewels. They have to be here at least once every year to go through this process we have gone through, howbeit probably in a smaller scale, to validate our continuous compliance with the international standards, which is what we have just achieved. So it's an ongoing basis, and on an annual basis, we're going to have that certification done over and over again.
Zenith Bank also says the award strengthens its footprint as it marks 13 years of operating in the Ghanaian market. Pius Amihe Eduku for City Business News.
Now, City News' observation at some oil marketing companies in Accra earlier today revealed a shortage in the supply of some petroleum products. The shortage was attributed to the refusal of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union to back down on the strike action over the non-operation for them. There is more in the following report.
Though the shortage was not widespread, about 2 out of every 5 filling stations visited were faced with a similar problem. It is either they had run out of,
but they didn't have petrol. But I think the diesel is available because motor riders, the cars and so count. Now, money sign be our say you say fuel anywhere and I say fuel or monthly be our.
Meanwhile, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies tells City News that the tanker drivers had agreed to back down on the strike after signing an agreement with relevant stakeholders. Clarifying reasons for the shortage, Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Ajimandia, said the situation is due to a challenge in the system used in processing delivery of the products.
We were not loaded from Friday. Friday was a holiday, so there was no loading. Saturday, Sunday was a weekend, no loading. Monday, we have not loaded. Tuesday, we have not loaded. So we're all compounded. So I'm sure you go to the station, some of them have got petrol, some have got diesel, some haven't got both. So what do we have? Systems, which now everybody's ordering is going to get jammed, and now has some indications places.
He, however, expressed the commitment of his outfit to ensure the demands of the drivers are met.
So it's an industry-wide issue, so we all have to make sure that we get it fixed. So we have, for the losses, we had some kind of manual which was done by the Energy Commission in 2004, which we all used to comply in the whole chain of the downstream. There are losses. The fuel says that if you take 10 liters and put this one you are pouring, you don't get the same 10 liters, depending on the temperature variation and what you are using. So we have made allowances for the losses. It's not that these losses go beyond the normal ones. So that's where the interpretation of it becomes an issue. And that's where we try to work out with. So we have sent message to our members that they should continue to comply with 2004 edition of the losses regime. There's a point that we are also developing a new one, which we have not come to conclusion yet, but we have really asked our members to all comply with.
The Association of Oil Marketing Companies believe the shortage might not persist for a very long time because the tanker drivers have agreed to back down on their strike action following a signed agreement between them and some relevant stakeholders. Reporting for City News, Hansen Ajiman.
Meanwhile, the African Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, wants the mandate of the bulk oil storage and transportation company BOST to be reviewed to deepen its storage capacity. It follows a sit-down strike by the Petrol Tanker Drivers Association over welfare issues. Now, the drivers are unhappy with the deductions for loss of fuel during transportation, a situation they say has made them worse off. Now, the executive director of ACEP, Benjamin Boachi, tells City Business News utilizing pipelines in transportation of fuel should reduce the impact of distribution losses and labor agitations on the petroleum sector.
What we need to do is to properly deregulate the sector. Let the private sector deal with these things. What we need BOST to do is to be a proper storage, entity, so that they have tanks all over that they can send products to through pipelines. And anybody in Tamale or wherever can have a small van that will just cut the product to their tanks. So this whole issue of transporting products becoming a huge problem for Ghana will not even arise. I mean, why should that even become an extra cost? We have pipelines that is running all the way to Akosombo, and then we have water transportation to Bipe, and that is supposed to also join another pipeline transportation to Burkina Faso. Why are we not using it? We are not using it because the politicians own the tankers, their business associates own the tankers. They can always come for an adjustment in price, So there is a way of dealing with it, and that will also bring benefit to the consumer. If we can cut the cost of transportation, which we are reluctant in improving, if we can cut it, that also translates into savings at the pump.
Moving on, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has directed state-owned enterprises to pay 15% of their gross profit as dividend to the government. The directive follows the failure of SOEs to declare their profits to government for the year 2017. Now, out of the 86 SOEs in the country, only 14 pay dividends to the government. There is more in the following report.
According to the 2017 state-owned report, total revenue from the SOEs was 27.34 billion cedis, but the companies made a net loss of 1.29 billion cedis. This includes the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited, ECG, which made a loss of 785 million cedis, and the Volta River Authority, VRA, which also lost 806 million cedis. Although profit from the SOEs went up by 59% from the figure recorded in 2016 to 4.89 billion cedis, government believes revenue from the companies is too low. To this end, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has directed SOEs to contribute 15% of their profits to government coffers. According to him, government injects huge capital into the SOEs.
It is, however, unfortunate that in terms of dividend payments, it has not improved. 14 out of the 86 entities in which we have equity interest paid dividends. A majority of the 14 were not really the 100% state-owned enterprises, but it's the JVs which has public and private sector interests. So there were only 3 of them that were full SOEs. So this really reinforces the justification for our quest that we as government should at least get 15% of your gross profit, so that however badly you run the company, at least the people of Ghana will get their portion to be used for public services. So the ministry has initiated the development of a state ownership policy which, among others, will streamline the payment of dividends and or surplus by SOEs, joint venture companies and public corporations. In the meantime, current guidelines on dividend payments, which we've already circulated to you, stipulate, as I mentioned, at the minimum, that SOE should declare and pay 15% of their gross profit as dividend to government. We expect the SOE will fully comply with the guidelines on dividend payments in order to justify the investment government has made and continues to make in them.
The companies that contributed to the profits include the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Water Company Limited, and the Ghana Airports Company Limited. The report also revealed that all 86 SOEs failed to present their financial report for 2017. Meanwhile, Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo has charged the Finance Minister to sanction heads of state-owned enterprises who failed to present edited financial reports on time. According to Mr. Osafo-Maafo, heads of the institutions must be held responsible for the losses.
Dividends are paid by many of you. What is missing, and I'm happy this is reflected in a number of the actions being taken, is that what we are getting out of many of you does not commensurate with the volume, the type, the size of investment we have made in you. It's not a question of going to declare dividend and giving the government 100,000 cedis, when indeed the size of equity of government in that business should have given the government 5 million cedis. So we have a really serious challenge on return on investment.
You're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. My name is Bobby Osei. We're going for a quick break. When we do return, some customers of Gold Coast Securities are threatening legal action if the company fails to pay dividend of their matured securities. See you soon.
Bless you with body.
We brought you not one, not two, but three of the city's biggest lockdowns on a cross one and only Funky and Fresh Jam. This time, may the fourth be with you as the Body Beach Hotel at 97.3 CTFM present the fourth edition of Funky and Fresh on Friday, 28 September 2018. Funky and Fresh, the fourth edition with DJ Gaddafi, will be another one to remember as the whole capital comes to a standstill as we boogie and have a blast till you crash. It's great cocktails, excellent music mix, and dancing feet to make your Friday night come alive. Book your place and make reservations now. Call 0544-431-213. Funky and Fresh is powered by Labadi Beach Hotel and 97.3 CTFM and sponsored by Big Ideas Consult, Bacardi, Voyage is a Freak, and Let's Be Seated.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guests, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February? Yes. Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
You're welcome back to the Business Dashboard on City TV. Let's bring you some more stories. Now, manufacturers and service providers are warning of an imminent increase in the prices of goods and services across the country. Now, according to them, a number of factors, including high import charges and the new removal of the value-added tax VAT from the NHIL and GET Fund, are to be blamed. But what will be the impact of such increases on the economy and ordinary Ghanaians? The following report has more.
The decision by government to rework the structure of the value-added tax VAT and its components was first announced by the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, on July 19 in Parliament during the media budget review. According to him, the recalibration will help government rake in about 500 million Ghana cedis to help it achieve its revenue target for this year.
Our analysis indicates that 5% move for the restructuring will have a much lower effect. Between sharing between the manufacturer, the retailer, and the consumer. And also our appreciation, really, that by the end of the year, we would have knocked about 2% off of inflation. And so net, we are seeing a situation where we're able to get some of the money we'll require, but the hard work of bringing inflation down will also mute that.
Manufacturers and businesses, however, say the recalibration of the VAT has only compounded the high cost associated doing business in the country. Samuel Agri is the General Secretary of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, and he says their members have no option than to pass on the cost to Ghanaians.
Almost every week, when the currency changes, and at the time that you are clearing your goods and paying your duty, if the cedi has changed, when you come back, your cost also changes. But if you look at it, most of the importers has not been able to pass on the cost, maintain what they have. But with the recent development, they pass to pass on the cost as time goes on. And in the near future, you will see, probably if most of them have not increased their prices yet, you see from next week at least, you see most of the industry players adjusting their prices upwards. So it's the consumer who is going to pay for it.
But how ready are Ghanaians to pay more for their goods and services? City News took to the streets of Accra and spoke to some Ghanaians.
My opinion, definitely there will be an impact. However, if it's just VAT that has been split into two separate disaggregations, then I wouldn't see the impact. But if it's taking out a percentage of the VAT and adding it to another levy, then most definitely there's going to be an economic shift.
To me, it doesn't make any sense, because if I'm paying 70.5%, I don't see the reason to be separated 12.5% then 5%. But if that's what the government wants and they are implementing it, I have no choice than to pay.
For Samuel Agri, the time has come for government to re-evaluate all its business-related policies to ensure it maintains those that support business growth.
So government really need to sit and look at what is happening and then properly adjust certain policies. Those that are nuisance, we take it off, we write it, and then we move on, because they are not helping the economy at all. So every decision that you take, there are consequences, but then we expect that those decisions or the policy drives should rather enrich businesses and then make our currency strong. Because if the currency is strong, I tell you, Ghana will be a place where people will come in and trade.
Now, some customers of Gold Coast Securities have threatened legal action if the company fails to pay them their matured investments soon. The customers earlier today besieged a Ridge branch of the company to reclaim their locked-up cash. There is more in this report.
The customers say several attempts to retrieve their money has been unsuccessful, hence their agitation. Some of them who spoke to City Business News also expressed displeasure at the delay in retrieving their money and have threatened to sue the company should they not get their money soon.
I have been coming here for the last 3 weeks. It's been one story to the other, and I'm here, and the manager just looked at me in the face and told me that there is no money. So if I decide to sit there till they close, well, whatever, there's no money. If they can't give me the interest, I don't have a problem. They should just give me back my principal as I brought.
General Manager in charge of Investor Relations and Marketing at the Gold Coast, Benjamin Afre, however, describes the development as a panic withdrawal, which has stemmed from the current happenings in the financial sector. assures customers their monies will be paid to them by the end of next week.
The issue, and I think we've spoken about this, for one panic in the system. As a result of that, you have so many clients coming at the same time to put in a request. Of course, there are anticipation of those things, so we always make preparations and provisions for that. But where you have an excessive flow of clients coming all at the same time, mainly also because of some of the issues happening within the industry, then it makes it a bit difficult to meet the payment requests as we had already scheduled with them. But in the midst of that, we are still making payments. What we are doing is to be able to schedule it such that we're able to calmly deal with everybody who comes. Well, what we are doing is, because of the backlog that we had as a result of everybody rushing, we've had to take our time to make sure we pay everybody. And so we've had a delay of about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if it's gone beyond 3 weeks, I'm sure within this week, unless we could be able to take care of that as well.
But General Manager of Gold Coast Trustees, Victoria Agligbo Ama, says although the company is facing minor challenges, customers' investments are safe, while adding that the company will bounce back to normalcy soon.
In the industry itself, and the first time of its kind in our existence. And so yes, there may be some baby steps for us also that we are taking, but we are dealing with this head on. And I mean, if we hadn't paid all of the people whom we were supposed to have paid from last month, for instance, I mean, you would have probably been hearing a different story by now, you know. So we are working through this turbulence, but we are still meeting the obligations that we have to meet. And so we appeal to our customers that they should work with us, they should bear with us. This is really what is called partnership. You know, this is what we have faced over the past few weeks. They should work with us as we fulfill our part of the promise to them, and they should be assured that they remain safe with us, because we have accounted for everything that they have with us, and everybody will be taken care of. We also do have an integrity to protect as a firm, having survived in this industry for 25 years. And so when we, while we want to preserve their investment with us, we also want to preserve our own integrity as a firm as well.
Meanwhile, the chairman of Group Indum, Dr. Papakwesi Indum, has assured that the company will pay all customers of Gold Coast Securities. Well, on that note, we bring today's edition of the Business Dashboard to an end. For more news, do visit citybusinessnews.com. Well, thank you so much for spending your night with us. My name is Bobby Osei. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 with more on the Business Dashboard.